It was the psychoanalyst Alfred Adler that said, "Follow your heart, but take your brain with you." And the reason why he said this was because he understood that the process of individuation, the process of becoming an authentic individual, requires a balance of both emotion and reason, rationality and emotion. Oftentimes we fall into one category or the other. We become too emotional or we become too rational. And when we fall into one of these with complete submission, we end up actually cutting our connection off to the opposite of what it is. Now, most people either choose to live in either the rational or the emotional world. When we choose one, of course, we kill off the opposite. This can make life tolerable, but also absolutely meaningless. But on rare occasion, those who seek a more meaningful life have to strive in balancing both worlds within their sphere of existence. They need to balance both the emotional and the rational mind, and they need to blend those two things in harmony with each other to create something of authenticity and to be of an authentic individual who puts their stamp on the world. This turns life into a meaningful struggle, rather than just a struggle for meaning itself. And to do this is to commit to the highest form of individuation, to actively choose to integrate emotional passion with rational thought into one's life completely. So when we actually understand this in relation to great thinkers, innovators, genius minds of the centuries, all great minds, thinkers, and innovators undergo this process of trying to balance and integrate emotional passion with rational thought. And what we can come to see is that their unique creation becomes a testament to their individuation journey, or their self-actualization journey, representing their efforts to balance opposing psychological forces of both emotional passion and rational thought. But sadly, too many of us give up somewhere along the road within our path of becoming who we are supposed to be. And I would say there's kind of these two negative or inverted kind of false archetypes of individuation, we could say. And one of them is I would call the machine man. And this is someone who gives up on that passion, fundamentally. They give up on the emotional passion they have within their heart. And they sell their souls to fall in line with the comforts of conformity. They submit to the rational instead, the rational antidote of easy living, passively doing what everyone else in society does. And we see this a lot. We see this with the business. We see this with the 9-to-5 kind of system of being a person who receives a wage and just continues this ever consistent routine and never break out of it. And in the process, they actually kill their passion for something else, which is the actual antidote to the problem of living a mundane existence, right? And a lot of the time we see this, and then people just become like machines. They fall into this kind of process of living. They fall into these mannerisms, these ways of going about life, doing the same thing monotonously every day in and out. And this is the machine man. This is someone who is fallen into the conformity of what the status quo basically wants you to be through this mode of chasing money and chasing career status and things of this nature. And we get stuck in it and we just become a machine. And we become very resentful deep down because no one's really happy in this state of living, basically. And the other is the kind of the inversion of this. We could say it's the person who becomes possessed by the emotional side of their life. The machine man, you could say, is like someone who's possessed by the rational side of life. Ultimately, the individuation process is about balancing the two. If we can't balance the two and we can't integrate those two opposites together, then we can't really be authentic. So the other side of this is what I'd call the madman, not the machine man, but the madman. And others, we could say these types of individuals, they would get lost in the frenzy of their own curiosity. They would get addicted to the euphoria that comes from this frenzy of emotional spontaneity and chaos, you could say. And this leads then individuals down a path of untamed emotion, addiction, and disorder. So when we choose to give up on ourselves or lose ourselves, no form of creativity can emerge or manifest from our lives. And someone who is the madman could be like someone who's really, They use substances to escape reality, or maybe they become addicted to those substances because they want to try. The thing is that they can't merge the rational thought with their unique rational thought with their emotions. So they kind of get subsumed to the emotional side of reality and the emotional passions, to the point where it's chaos and there's no order founded within it for them to actually create something of value. And you see this with people who get addicted to drugs, because they want to escape reality, they want to escape the difficulties of life, or they're dealing with trauma, or they themselves are just very high in negative emotion, or very neurotic individuals, and then they have an addictive personality and they go down that kind of route, and it's very difficult for them to come out of it. But like I was saying, when we choose to give up on ourselves or lose ourselves in this way of life, where we have become the madman, the machine man, the rational thought individual who conforms to the status quo, or someone who's the complete opposite in the sense that they just become addicted to drugs and to that which brings them euphoria through the expression of their emotion, something like this. Ultimately, when this happens, it leads us down a path of not being able to form anything or create anything because we're possessed by one or the other. We're possessed by Dionysus or Apollo, like if you want to look at a Greek sense, and there's no ability to form creativity because, we're not finding balance, where there is no sovereignty within this balance. And this is when we know we have failed to individuate, because we have allowed an aspect of life to enslave us, basically. And that is when we can see that we have failed to find any kind of peace or harmony within the balance of life itself. But ultimately, when we think of innovators and great thinkers, creators, they always balance these two sides of life. They always find a way to balance emotional passion and rational thought. And that is what we really need to understand if we want to become people that are very creative, people who are innovative, people that are great thinkers, people that can write great books, all of this type of stuff. Now, if you enjoyed what I talked about in this video and you relate to kind of this struggle of finding balance or lacking the ability to find balance within your own life, maybe you have some vices, maybe you have some bad habits in relation to this emotional passion you have. So maybe you have certain addictions and this kind of stuff, or maybe you're too stuck in your head. Maybe you're frozen by anxiety and fear, and maybe you're more within this kind of over rationalization, or maybe you're too stuck in your head with regards to rational thought and all this type of stuff, or you simply want to figure out how to find more balance so that you can be courageous, disciplined, and just have more integrity with what you're doing, then I very much recommend that you click the link down below for a one-on-one call with me on my Individuation or just anti-procrastination coaching program, where we can just very much talk about certain techniques that you can use to help you break through some of these bad habits, these intrusive thoughts, these self-limiting beliefs that you might be having, so that you can learn techniques and methods and processes that can actually help you get out of these things. And I can help you in that sense through a form of mentorship, through a form of accountability, to make sure that you stay on that path and you stay disciplined with what you want to actually achieve. So if that's something you are interested in, make sure to book in that free one-on-one call down below. You'll be talking with me. We can have a good, wholesome conversation about the things that you want to work on and the solutions I can provide for you. And if that is something that you want to do with me, we can figure out a coaching system from there. So with that said, guys, thanks for watching this video. Comment your thoughts down below. What do you make of this type of stuff? And I will speak to you all in the next one.